Oh, good morning, vinyl community. Bradley here. I'm going to make a few videos of maybe classic jazz albums. Some of them may not be considered classic, but they're very good. And all these records are pretty much available as reissues. Like you can order them online or in a record store right now and get them. So you don't have to look for older versions. So the first album on Blue Note, it was recorded in March of 1965. Herbie Hancock, Maiden Voyage. Beautiful cover photograph of a person on a sailboat, blurry. This is an iconic Blue Note cover. Now the musicians on this album are Freddie Hubbard on trumpet, who is probably my favorite trumpeter, trumpist, whatever. George Coleman on tenor sax, which I was not that familiar with George Coleman, but he sounds great on here. Herbie Hancock on piano, of course. On bass, probably, in my opinion, the best jazz bassist of all time, Ron Carter. And on drums, a very young Anthony Williams. Now, Maiden Voyage, which is a, I guess you could call it a theme album around nautical or ocean, ocean scenes. This was Herbie's 5th album, and all those were on Blue Note. There are 5 songs on here, and an interesting little thing was 3 of these songs, I think Maiden Voyage, Baby Dolphin Dance, and something else, was recorded maybe a week earlier than this actual recording with a different drummer. And I assume it was probably Alfred Lyon, he was the owner of Blue Note and the producer. He decided to replace the original drummer with Anthony Williams, who was 20 years old at the time, and I'm glad he did. And Herbie was only 24 years old when he recorded this. So this is a pretty mellow album. Not a lot of swinging in there, but it's beautiful. I love the drums. Anthony Williams on the title track of Maiden Voyage, he uses the ride cymbal, kind of like, sounds like waves crashing against the shore. Like he'll do slower ones, then he'll make them louder to make the, sounds like waves crashing, you know. Really neat. Now this is got a lot of most of these songs are slower, but you know, you can't get much better than this. On a lot of the top list of greatest jazz albums, this will a lot of times come in at least in the top 20, maybe top 15. So it's very well regarded. I would highly recommend it. Like I said, it's a little relaxing. So I will give it 5 stars. My star system. Now the second album cue up the music here, is by Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers. It is called, here we go, it's called Mosaic. Right there. Now this was recorded in October of 1961. And I love that photograph, nice color photograph. This is a little different than a lot of the Blue Note covers. A lot of the Blue Note covers were tinted. This looks more like a Impulse label release, but it's great. This has 6 musicians on it, 3 horns. Okay, on trumpet, my favorite, Freddie Hubbard. On trombone, Curtis Fuller from Detroit. On tenor sax, Wayne Shorter. On piano, Cedar Walton. On bass, Jimmy Merritt. And on drums, of course, Art Blakey. For those not familiar with the genre hard bop, this is hard bop. Is the epitome of hard bop. Plus, there's no ballads in here. It's driving. Art Blakey, he put out, I don't know, probably 70 albums or so under his name or the Jazz Messengers, and he played on hundreds of other albums. Art Blakey, frenetic drummer, especially on his own albums and the Jazz Messengers. On other people's albums, he can be a little restrained, but on his own, you know, it's all out. He'll play 100 miles an hour. And this was recorded, of course, at the Van Gelder Studios by Rudy. One thing about this album is there's 5 songs on here. Mosaic, which is the one playing now, that was written by the pianist Cedar Walton. Down Under, or no, Mosaic was written by, well, yeah, by Cedar Walton. Down Under was by Freddie Hubbard. Children of the Night by Wayne Shorter, which you can listen to the first 5 notes and know it's a Wayne Shorter song. On the flip side, Arabia was written by Curtis Fuller, the trombonist, and it ends with Crisis, which was written by Freddie Hubbard. Like I said, the solos and the actual songs are amazing on this album. I like the fact they have 6 people in here. I like it that they add trombone into the mix with trumpet and sax. That 3rd horn really adds a lot. Plus, you can get a little more solos out of it, which is good. On the Curtis Fuller, there are 5 songs. So these 5 songs were written by 4 of the musicians. Freddie Hubbard wrote 2, and Cedar Walton, Wayne Shorter, and Curtis Fuller had the other ones. And although they were written by different people, they just fit. Maybe that's what makes it a good album. You have a little bit of variety, but boy, it's good. And the first song on the second side was Arabia, written by Curtis Fuller. Great song. I think it's probably, in my opinion, it's the weakest song on here. But if it was on anybody else's album, it would be a great song. But the quality of the material on this album is just so high. And also the last song, Crisis, was written by Freddie Hubbard, which, like I said, this was recorded in October of 1961. A few months earlier, Freddie recorded his album, Ready for Freddie. And he had his original version of Crisis on that album. Elvin Jones played drums on that album. And I can't remember who the other musicians were. It might have been some of the same ones. I'm not sure. But on this one, on Crisis, Art Blakey plays drums. So, you know, you get a different, same song, but and it's pretty similar, but it's different because of the drumming. So, Mosaic, I don't know, top 100 albums, I don't know if it normally cracks the top 100. Mainly because they have probably 2 or 3 other Art Blakey albums that people rank above this, which I have 4 or 5 Art Blakey records, and man, I love this. Like I said, if you're new to jazz, I would definitely pick this up. If you don't like it, you know, you might not like hard bop, apparently. But great album. So, how many stars should I give it? Well, scale 1 to 5, of course, I'm going to give it 5. I love this album. I love it. So, that's it for today for my little mini reviews, and I hope maybe this will help jazz newbies. I don't know that much about jazz, but I know what I like, so I'm just sharing that, you know, sharing that love of this. So I think that's all for today. I will catch you later. If you ever care to like, comment, or subscribe, please do. So this is Bradley. I will catch you later. Goodbye.